Okay, right, we'll make a start. One or two things I need to say before other people speak. The first is to say that we're honoured to have Michael Stanford Tuck here to do the unveiling. He's the son of Robert Stanford Tuck, who was a famous Battle of Britain pilot and test pilot after the war. More of that shortly. We've also got Ken Bannerman from Glasgow, whose charitable trust has paid for this plaque and has also paid for a 2-ton memorial up at Hawkinge, which we're unveiling tomorrow, if anyone wants to go to Hawkinge. That's being done at 11:30, so you want to get there early because I think quite a lot of people will be there. In the pub, at the far end in the far room, there is a display of pictures and memorabilia, pictures of things that relate to this public house and the airfield, because the history of the two are interlinked totally. And when we finish speechifying, there will be Spitfire beer at the bar and nibbles in the far room for those of you whose tummies are rumbling because it's supper time. And that's about it for the moment. I just want also to mention that the parachute cord that Michael is going to pull to unveil the plaque is actually parachute silk from my Uncle Tom's parachute. He was a fighter pilot from Cranwell who died in 1940 over Belgium. And I thought it appropriate that the cord for unveiling this should be a piece of his parachute cord. So there we are. So what I'll do now is ask John Simpson, who's prepared a brief background to Michael's father, and then Michael can say a few words about anything he wants to say, and then pull the dreaded cord.
Cool.
Yeah, far away.
Right. Wing Commander Roland Robert Stanford Tuck, DSO, DFC, 2 bars, AFC. Wing Commander Stanford Tuck was born in Catford on the 1st of July 1916 and became a very successful fighter pilot and test pilot. Robert, as he was better known, joined the RAF in 1935 with 65 Squadron and then 92 Squadron at Croydon. He first saw combat in the Battle of France over Dunkirk in 1940 and then throughout the Battle of Britain. No stranger to the Spitfire or Hurricane, it was the latter he flew with 257 Squadron in his new command as a newly promoted squadron leader at Coltishall at the height of the Battle of Britain. During 1941-42, he took part in fighter sweeps over northern France, but on the 28th of January 1942 was shot down and taken prisoner. At the time, he had shot down 27 enemy planes and a good number of shared victories, damaged and probable destructions to his credit. Robert was imprisoned at the famous Stalag Luft 3, the Great Escape of Wooden Horse Camp, from where he finally managed to escape in February 1945. He retired from the RAF in 1949 and went on to be a test pilot of the English Electric Canberra bomber. No stranger to Kent, Robert lived at Eastry with his wife Joyce and 2 sons, Michael and Simon, where for 20 years he ran a mushroom farm in collaboration with Douglas Miller. In 1968 he was technical advisor on the epic film Battle of Britain, where he developed a long-term friendship with former adversary Adolf Galland and became godfather to one of Galland's sons. Robert finally retired to Sandwich Bay in 1970, where he enjoyed playing golf at St George's. Robert Stanford Tuck died on May the 5th, 1987.
Thank you. Right, anything more you'd like to say, sir?
No, not very far away.
Okay.
I'm delighted to be here. As you can see from a tan, even in the sun. I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning on the Greek island of Lefkas, and so it's been a bit of a hard day, actually. If any of you have seen the traffic in Kent today, you'll know what I'm talking about. Because the M2 was blocked, the M20 was blocked, everything else was blocked. Corfu Airport was blocked. almost everything I've been in touch with today, this plot. You may ask why this is relevant to what I'm going to do now and what I'm going to say. But we have just had 2.5 wonderful weeks in Greece. The Greeks are having troubles with the Germans. It's not entirely their own fault. The Greek politicians have made a lot of mistakes in recent years, but the Greeks are fundamentally a good lot of people. And there's a little comparison there with what was going on here in 1940 when England and the Allied forces were facing Germany. On a day like today, wonderful sunny skies in the summer of 1940. So there is a similarity there. Fortunately, England, the Allied forces were victorious, and I actually hope and think the Greeks will. I think they deserve a break, but that's something completely different. But there is that comparison there today. And the other thing I wanted to say was, having grown up down here in Eastleigh, yes, I went to Hawkinge often, and was there when my father was a technical advisor on the Battle of Britain film. Met some of the stars, which was fun. I did know General Galland very well, the Luftwaffe General, who actually my father did form quite a good friendship with immediately after the war. He was taken prisoner by him when he was shot down in Saint-Omer in France in January 1942. And Galland actually entertained him to dinner in his Air Force station before sending him off to prison war camp. And they became firm friends afterwards. I was very fortunate to know people like Douglas Bader, who was again a wonderful family friend, wonderful man. Played golf with him at Sandwich on 1 or 2 occasions. Cocky Dundas, as he was known as, who I think Clusian in, or certainly bailed out over here. I think bailed out over England somewhere, actually. I'm sure you've all got the wonderful book here, Harvest of Messerschmitts, which is a wonderful book of all the local names of I've also brought the facsimile of my father's logbook. But Harvest of Messerschmitts is a great book with wonderful pictures of the air war over this tiny little part of Canada today. Now, having been on holiday, I'm sorry I haven't done the research that I should have done to know how to thank the right people, or to acknowledge the people one should be acknowledging for all the hard work that the local government did. I know that the sponsor of this memorial is here, and it's really down to you. This is for today.
And that gentleman is Ken Bannerman.
So I think probably, having just mentioned a few words, without more ado, I should pull the famous cord, and unveil this wonderful memorial.
We keep our fingers crossed that it works.
You say just tug.
Try gently to start with, Michael, see what happens. Yay!
Wonderful.
I think the one thing that we all need to remember, and why this plaque is here, because this pub has been closely associated with the airfield ever since the airfield opened. And when I first moved down here in 1967, I was amazed at the social life centred around this pub and fed by the exuberance of all the air crew and hostesses and all the rest of them from the airfield. And we used to party here literally many weekends, Friday night through till Sunday morning, in what is now the kitchen. It was a spit and sawdust pub then, and it was great, run by Bob Muir and his wife. Yes, sure. So Ken would like to say a few words.
Well, thank you all very much, first of all, for coming. I'm very happy to be here representing the charity with my colleagues, helping to unveil what is now our 38th memorial since the Airfields of Britain Conservation Trust, which I founded and now lead, started in 2006. I'll just give you a very quick history of Lympne, just give you a background to this, because this is a genuine British superstar airfield. If you to name, say, the 50 greatest airfields in this country, past and present, Lympne would without a shadow of doubt be one of them, no doubt about it. And it has a tremendously varied career as well. It started in World War I as a home defence landing ground for fighter aircraft defending this country. Then it graduated to more advanced tasks during World War I. After World War I, it became a notable transport airfield and indeed one of the very few airports in Britain, when airports hardly even existed in this country. Then, as you may well be aware, during the mid-1920s, it was the home of the famous and highly influential Lympne light airplane competition trials, which played a surprisingly big part in creating today what we now refer to as general aviation, i.e. civil flying excluding airliners and so on. The military came back in time, had various other roles with both the Royal Air Force and also the embryonic Fleet Air Arm before World War II. During World War II itself, as is not unknown, it was terribly badly bombed during the Battle of Britain. This was about the worst bombed airfield anywhere in the UK. 1,490 bombs fell on the airfield during 1940, sadly including loss of life. So bad was it, in fact, that for several months during 1940 and 41, this place rather unusually acted as a decoy airfield. In other words, it was a place intended to attract Luftwaffe aircraft to deliberately bomb, which just shows you how very badly wrecked this place was. All the hangars, buildings were just flattened. However, it came back into action during 1941, played a very big part with RAF fighter command squadrons leading up to the eventual invasion of Europe with D-Day. Then it's also very well known from 1945 as a prominent civil airfield, and the older generations especially will remember the famous Bristol freighter car ferrying aircraft. And this was in the days before the ferries and the hovercraft that used to go across the English Channel, especially more recently. So this carried on for many years until well into the 1960s with truly great effect. There was a major change as well in the late 1960s, because after many years as a grass airfield, Lympne shortly afterwards officially renamed as Ashford Airport, but everyone just called it Lympne anyhow, received a hard runway. This was in 1967 to 69. Unfortunately though, changing times meant that a lot of the airline operators gradually faded away. And a very big turning point was in 1974 when one of the very main operators here relocated to today's Lead Airport. After that, as you can see with the timeline, that was in 74, Lympne carried on for another 10 years with again what is today called general aviation, parachuting, light aircraft clubs and so on, eventually closed. And now we see Lympne as it is today. I mean, I have to say, personal opinion, this is about as sad a view as of any disused airfield today in Britain. If I just briefly explain what we do with our charity, as we call for short ABCT. It formed in 2006, and I'd had this in mind for many, many years. I mean, I'm now, dare I say, 51, and I first had this idea when I was just 9 years old, as you can see on our very, very popular website. We've got cards and everything, so you're very welcome to have brochures, you know, if anyone wants any information. If you type the letters ABCT on the internet and Google, you'll find us very, very easily. We've got a 2,000-page website, which next week is going to become 3,000 pages, and it's proving remarkably popular. So what we essentially do is erect commemorative memorials like this one. We'll be in action tomorrow at Hawkinge with a full-size memorial. This is the first of our kind at Plaque level. So this is a 38th, Hawkinge is the 39th. That's going very well. We're intending by the end of the next decade to erect at least 400 memorials across the UK, at least. We also help try and save airfields one way or another. Then, of course, being a fully registered and listed charity, naturally it's all about helping people. And we've had some incredible inquiries over the years. But leaving all that aside, what is far more important, and this is so relevant with Lympne even today, even though sadly the airfield, one has to say, is effectively shattered. Just spare a moment for all our airfields, especially our disused ones, and all the personnel who served at them. Because these places, and of course the people who served at them, they not only truly saved Britain and indeed the world, certainly twice, as indeed Lympne did, but it's far more than just the military side of everyday life. It's also the social side. Quite simply, we depend upon airfields in our everyday lives. It's an incredible range of activities. Our working lives, our recreational lives, the food we eat, the water we drink, the cars that are passing by in the road here, the emergency services, even such everyday issues vitally important for every single one of us as time. An airfield in Britain, a disused one, regulates time in this country. So when you are going into hospital for an operation, you are literally relying upon that airfield to keep you alive. And this airfield has not been used in a dictionary sense since 1958. This is at the other end of England. But we really have to properly honour places like Lympne and all the people who have served there, both those who are sadly no longer with us and those happily who still are. Because apart from that, we owe them so much. If airfields never existed in this country, and of course a classic case as well is a name you'll know, Manston, which you'll be aware is in the most desperate trouble at the moment. And ABCT, among many other organisations and individuals, is trying ferociously hard to try and save Manston as for starters. So all I can just say to you is again, thank you so much for coming, and thank you so much for unveiling our plaque. That's very good. Also, I must as well pay special thanks to our friend here, David, who has genuinely performed real heroics trying to save Lympne. So he deserves great recognition and acknowledgement as well. He really does. So
Can
just
I
always
say,
just say as well.
I just say on that point, at one point, it wasn't a one-man show. Anything that we've achieved has only been achieved because of the help of so many people who live here and have put their tuppence halfpenny worth at least in.
David, of course, has been greatly helpful to us. It's just obviously with the contact we've had, but thank you so much for coming, and just spare a thought and do all you can for our airfields in the UK, because they just really deserve it after all they've done for this country. So thank you so much for coming, and thank you for unveiling the world. Thank you so much.